Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media, and Ron Paul warned this week on CNBC's Futures Now that a 50% stock market plunge is indeed conceivable. As he went on to say, and I quote, "I don't believe it's 10 years off. I don't even believe it's a year off." As Zero Hedge reports, Paul noted that there's a lot of chaos in Washington right now, with an unpredictable president and those who are inclined to tear him apart. But if the market takes that big of a tumble, he doesn't see it as Trump's fault. As Dr. Paul went on to say, it's all man-made. It's not the fault of Donald Trump in the last week. If the market crashes tomorrow and we have a Great Depression, he didn't do it in 6 months. It took more like 6 or 10 years to cause all these problems that we are facing. I see the foundation of our system built on sand, and a big wind comes along to blow it down. Of course, there's no doubt that it isn't Trump's fault. From the monetary manipulation to the market manipulation, it's simply out of the president's hands. We can blame the central bankers, the IMF, the Bank of International Settlements, market manipulators like the ESF, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, and the list goes on. While everything may look good to most people right now, it's all a facade. Things look good in 2007 also. The hope is false and the bubbles and danger are real. Dr. Paul notes the incredibly low interest rates as well, which globalist kingpins like Kenneth Rogoff, one of the world's biggest advocates of a centrally planned cashless society on a global scale, recently warned that we are going to see negative interest rates in the next crisis. Of course, Dr. Paul has rightly warned of negative interest rates for years, including in our recent interview with him here at WHAM. In the end, it's another tax, and it's fraudulent because you put $100 into the bank and you get back 90. It's almost like a mini bail-in. There are so many things wrong with that. Then, surprise, surprise, look who else is commenting on this. The globalists are panicking, and that brought Lord Jacob Rothschild out of the woods to warn about an apocalyptic economic and market scenario. Rothschild, one of the most nefarious banking individuals in the world, said in his gloomy 2016 half-year report that central bankers are continuing what is surely the greatest experiment in monetary policy in the history of the world. We are therefore in uncharted waters, and it is impossible to predict the unintended consequences of very low interest rates, with some 30% of global government debt at negative yields, combined with quantitative easing on a massive scale. Well, I'll push back and say I think it's easy to predict the very intended consequences of negative interest rates and the desecration of the global fiat empire as it comes crashing down. Though it's worth pointing out that the fundamentals are very much off the table due to the level of manipulation, so it's difficult to put a finger on when exactly it's going to happen, but we see many telltale signs today. I will say that I have to agree with a point about negative yields and quantitative easing, and it hurts me to agree with a Rothschild. But he's simply smirking and calling a spade as the destructive work that he and his cronies have propped up for years is coming to fruition. Though I think they're a little bit nervous about whether or not they will be lynched by the populace for what they have done. As we recently went into with author and economic analyst here at WHAM, John Sneisen, Italian junk bonds are currently yielding less than US treasuries. Talk about insane. That's an example of a bond apocalypse waiting to happen if I've ever seen one. Markets are manipulated into oblivion. The monetary system is manipulated and printed into oblivion. Central planning, quantitative easing, fractional reserve, debt, and more debt. If we are pushed down a bottomless pit of debt, we are forced to ask for a ladder up from the government and the banking system, which puts us into perfect servitude. That's exactly what the end game is, and that's exactly why it's time to become self-sufficient immediately. Food, water, shelter, defense, and sound money. We can beat this thing. But first we need the information, and then we need to shoo the snakes out of the den. As individuals, we can do this, but we better get a move on. Thanks for watching, everyone. Check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so vastly demonetized and censored by YouTube, as the Anti-Defamation League has come in and started flagging all of our content as hate speech. We talk about pensions, and apparently that is hate speech. We talk about freedom, and that's hate speech, and we need your help more than ever because they are basically drowning us right now and demonetizing basically every single video. Also, check our Bitcoin address below in the description and the comments, as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And also check me out at Josh Sigurdson at steemit.com. That's steemit.com, the future of social media, as you get paid via the upvote and demand of your post in cryptocurrencies, Steem to be exact, as the dinosaur social media digs itself a grave. We hope to see you there, but until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.